I never thought a simple pink bicycle could start a war in my quiet neighborhood. But that's exactly what happened when my daughter's favorite bike disappeared, snatched by the one person who thought she owned the whole block, Karen from the HOA. That morning felt like any other Saturday. The sun was soft, the air smelled of fresh-cut grass, and my daughter Lily was laughing in the driveway, pedaling her bike in circles. Her laughter was that kind of pure sound that makes you forget about bills, work, and everything else. But by afternoon, that laughter turned into tears, and I found myself standing face to face with a woman who had no idea she'd just messed with the wrong family. It all started when I got home from the grocery store. Lily came running toward me, her little hands trembling. "Daddy, my bike's gone," she cried. At first, I thought maybe she'd just left it somewhere nearby. Maybe behind the bushes or by the swing set. But after checking everywhere, I realized the bike was gone. Not stolen by a stranger. Not taken by a friend. No. It was gone because someone decided they had the right to take it. Then came that voice, the one that could sour milk. "You really should keep your things inside your garage," Karen said, standing there in her perfectly pressed clothes, arms crossed, lips tight. I turned slowly. "Excuse me." She gave a fake smile that could cut glass. "The HOA has rules. No bikes left outside. It ruins the neighborhood's image." So, I took it. For a moment, I couldn't even speak. My daughter's eyes filled with tears beside me. "You took it?" I asked, barely believing what I was hearing. Karen tilted her chin. "Yes. It's in my garage for now. You'll get it back after the next HOA meeting. We'll discuss a fine for violating property rules." That's when something inside me snapped, not anger exactly, but something deeper. A father's instinct. That bike wasn't just a piece of metal. It was Lily's treasure. Her joy. Her freedom. "Karen," I said slowly, "you had no right to take my daughter's bike." She smirked. "The HOA has every right. Read your bylaws." And just like that, she turned and walked away, heels clicking like a judge's gavel. That night, I couldn't sleep. Lily kept asking, "Daddy, did I do something wrong?" I told her no, but inside I was burning. I went through the HOA rulebook front to back. Nowhere did it say they could take personal property. All it said was that items left out could lead to a warning or fine, not confiscation. So, I planned to confront her the next morning. But fate had other plans. When I walked out of the house the next day, Karen was already in her yard, gossiping with two other neighbors. They looked like judges waiting to hand out a sentence. I walked straight toward her. "Karen, we need to talk," I said. She raised an eyebrow. "About your little rule violation?" "No." "About your theft," I said firmly. Her face froze. The other neighbors went silent. You could practically hear the tension humming in the air. "Excuse me," she said, her voice rising. "You heard me. You took my daughter's bike without permission. That's stealing." Karen's eyes darted to her friends, then back at me. "Don't be ridiculous. It's not stealing. It's enforcement." "Enforcement?" I repeated. "You enforce rules by writing letters, not by breaking into people's driveways." She folded her arms tighter. "Well, maybe if you actually followed community standards." I stepped closer. "You think you can teach my daughter a lesson by humiliating her? By taking something that doesn't belong to you?" Karen's mouth opened, but before she could respond, a new voice cut through the air. "Hey, is this about a pink bike?" We all turned. It was Mike, my next-door neighbor. And he wasn't just any neighbor. He was also the brother-in-law of Senator Collins, who owned a vacation home 2 streets away. "Yes," I said cautiously. Mike frowned. "You mean the one with the little gold sticker on the frame?" "Yeah," I said. "That's the one." He scratched his head. "Funny, because that bike used to belong to the senator's kid. He donated it to the community charity last summer. Said it was for any family who needed it. My wife picked it up for your daughter, remember?" Karen's face went pale. I could see the realization hit her like a truck. That ugly pink bike she'd taken, the one she thought made the neighborhood look bad, was once owned by the senator's family. I didn't even have to say a word. Mike smirked. You might want to be careful who you mess with, Karen. By that evening, whispers had spread through the whole neighborhood. People stopped by asking what happened. Some laughed. Some shook their heads. But Karen, she avoided everyone. Still, I wasn't satisfied. It wasn't about revenge, it was about principle. My daughter cried for hours because of her arrogance. I wanted her to understand that power doesn't give you the right to humiliate people. So, I wrote an email to the HOA board, copying the senator's local office. I explained everything: the bike, the confrontation, the rules. I even attached a screenshot from our security camera that showed Karen wheeling the bike away. Within 2 days, I got a reply. The board was furious. Apparently, Karen had overstepped her authority more than once. There were already complaints about her bossing people around, fining families for ugly mailboxes, and yelling at kids for playing too loudly. This was just the final straw. They called an emergency meeting that Friday. The HOA meeting was packed. Every seat was taken, and people were standing along the walls. Karen sat near the front, pretending to look calm, but her eyes darted around like a cornered animal. When it was my turn to speak, I kept it simple. My daughter's bike was taken without permission. That's not enforcement. That's theft. We can't let authority turn into bullying. A few people clapped quietly. Then more joined. Within seconds, the whole room was nodding. Karen tried to defend herself, saying she was protecting neighborhood values. But when the board chairman asked if she had any written authority to confiscate property, she went silent. That silence spoke louder than any argument she could have made. The chairman sighed. Karen, you're suspended from your HOA duties effective immediately pending review. Her face turned red. You can't do this. I'm the only one keeping this place respectable. The chairman looked tired. Respect starts with respect for others. Meeting adjourned. When I got home that night, Lily was waiting by the door. Did you get my bike back? She asked. I smiled and nodded. It's in the garage, safe and sound. Her eyes lit up. Can I ride it tomorrow? Of course, I said. But this time, we'll ride together. She giggled and hugged me. And just like that, the house felt warm again. But here's the thing, the story didn't end there. A few days later, I got a call from the senator's assistant. They'd heard about the incident. They wanted to thank us for standing up for what's right. And then she said something that made me pause. As for Karen, she eventually moved out. The new HOA president was fair and kind. And every time I see my daughter pedaling that bike down the street, I remember that even the smallest acts, like defending a child's joy, can change a whole community. So here's the truth. Bullies come in many forms. Some hide behind rules, others behind titles. But if you keep your heart strong and your voice steady, no one can take what's truly yours. I thought the story was over after Karen left our neighborhood. But I was wrong. The echoes of what she did, the way she used power to control others, stayed long after she was gone. At first, everything went quiet. People smiled more. Kids laughed in the park without fear of being scolded. The air even felt lighter somehow. But there was still one thing I couldn't forget, the look on Lily's face that day her bike was taken. That kind of pain changes something inside a parent. I realized then, the real fight wasn't just about a bike. It was about respect. About teaching my daughter that no one, no matter how powerful, gets to take away your joy. A week later, our neighborhood got a letter from the HOA. It was short, formal, and written in the most polite tone possible, but the message was clear. Effective immediately, Karen W. is removed from all HOA duties due to repeated misconduct and abuse of authority. The rest of the letter went on about policy restructuring and new leadership. But what mattered most was that one line. Justice had finally been served. That night, I showed the letter to Lily. She read it slowly, lips moving with each word. Then she looked up at me and smiled. So, she can't take anyone's bike anymore? I laughed. No, sweetheart. Not anymore. She hugged me tight. Good. She was mean. I hugged her back, but part of me still felt sad. Because deep down, I knew Karen wasn't just mean, she was broken in some way. People like her often are. They try to control others because they've lost control of themselves. Still, no one escapes the truth forever. 2 weeks later, the senator's community event finally happened. The whole town showed up. There were balloons, food stalls, and music. Kids raced around on their bikes, laughter bouncing off every wall. When the senator walked in, everyone applauded. He was a tall man with kind eyes and a calm smile. I didn't think he'd notice us, but he did. "You must be Lily," he said, crouching down to her level. "I heard you've got quite the story." Lily blushed. "It was my bike," she said shyly. He chuckled. "I know. And I'm glad it ended up with someone who treasures it." Then he looked at me. "You did the right thing, standing up for her. We need more parents like you in this world." That moment hit me hard. I didn't feel like a hero. I just did what any father would do. But hearing it from someone who had power and still cared about ordinary people, it meant something. After the event, life went back to normal. Mostly. One evening, I was watering the plants when I saw a moving truck down the street. Curiosity got the better of me, so I walked over. That's when I saw her, Karen. She was standing by the truck, boxes stacked high, looking smaller than I remembered. No fancy clothes. No clipboard. Just a tired woman packing up her life. For a moment, I considered walking away. But something stopped me. Maybe it was closure. Maybe it was compassion. I'm still not sure. I walked up and said, "Leaving for good?" She turned, startled. Then sighed. "Yeah. Guess I'm not very popular around here anymore." I nodded. People just wanted peace. She looked down. I thought I was keeping order. I guess I went too far. I studied her face. She looked human now. Not the cold, perfect Karen everyone feared. Just someone who'd made mistakes. "Sometimes," I said softly, "it's not about rules. It's about kindness." She gave a small, sad smile. "Your daughter's lucky. You're a good dad." I didn't know what to say. She climbed into her car, waved faintly, and drove away. And for the first time, I didn't feel angry anymore. I just felt done. Months passed. The seasons changed. Lily grew taller, faster, braver. She joined a local bike club, made new friends, and won her first little race. When they handed her a tiny medal, I swear my heart almost burst. After the ceremony, she said, "Daddy, remember when Karen took my bike?" I smiled. "Yeah, I remember." She grinned. "I'm kinda glad she did." I frowned. "Glad?" "Yeah," she said. "Because if she didn't, I wouldn't have learned that some people are mean, but that doesn't mean you stop being kind." Her words stunned me. She was only 8, but she already understood something that takes most adults a lifetime to learn. That night, I sat on the porch watching her ride up and down the street. The setting sun painted everything gold. And I thought about all the little battles we fight in life, against unfair bosses, nosy neighbors, or heartless rules. Sometimes they seem small. But they're not. Because every small stand builds something bigger, dignity. And dignity, once earned, can't be taken away. A few months later, something unexpected happened again. I got a letter in the mail from the new HOA president. It wasn't a complaint or fine. It was an invitation. "We're starting a neighborhood improvement project. We'd love for you and your daughter to help design a community playground. You've both inspired a lot of us." I read the letter twice just to be sure. Then I showed it to Lily, and she squealed with excitement. "Can we make a bike track?" she asked. "Of course," I said. "It'll be your design." That project became the heart of our neighborhood. Everyone helped, families, teens, even retirees. We planted flowers, painted benches, built a bike track, and created a small mural that said, "Kindness builds community." Lily signed her name under it in bright pink paint. When the playground finally opened, there were tears in people's eyes. Not just because it looked beautiful, but because it felt different. The neighborhood wasn't about control anymore, it was about connection. And in a strange way, even Karen had played a part in that. Her mistakes had reminded everyone how easily power can poison good intentions. Sometimes, you need a storm before you can appreciate the calm. A year later, Lily's story spread online. Someone at the event had recorded her talking about kindness over control, and it went viral. People from all over the country commented, parents, teachers, even kids, saying they'd been inspired by her bravery. One comment stood out to me. We all have a Karen in our lives. But we also have a choice, to fight hate with hate, or to rise above it. That line stayed with me, because that's what this whole story was really about. Rising above. Now, every time I see Lily ride that pink bike, wind in her hair, I feel proud. Not just because she got her bike back, but because she learned that strength isn't in shouting the loudest. It's in staying kind when the world gives you reasons not to be. And I learned something too. Rules are only good if they serve people, not control them. When we forget that, we lose our humanity. But when we choose empathy over ego, even the smallest act, like returning a child's bike, can restore faith in an entire community. So here's what I'll leave you with. If someone tries to take away your peace, your dignity, or your child's smile, don't let them. Stand firm. Speak calmly. And never forget that kindness, when used with courage, is stronger than any rulebook or HOA president. Because at the end of the day, what truly defines us isn't how loud we fight, it's how deeply we care. If you believe that standing up for what's right can change the world, share this story. Let's remind people that power means nothing without compassion.